it's me, Kirsty. I am back with another video really soon because we've got some very exciting news. Disneyland Paris is opening! We finally had the date today, so Disneyland Paris is opening on the 15th of July, which is a Wednesday, I believe. So yeah, really exciting news. We've already been planning how we can get there the first weekend, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we're really excited to get some trips planned now that we can get back there and use our annual pass. So today has been a good day. So just thought I'd come on and share a little bit of information really about what we know about it and what's kind of happening in the Disneyland Paris world. So like I say, opening from the 15th of July. It's only opening with one hotel to start with, so Newport Bay Hotel is going to be open to begin with, and then they're going to slowly build up the hotels as time goes on. I think one of the last ones to open that's been given a date at the moment is the Disneyland Hotel, which isn't open until the 9th of September. So that's actually quite late. I was going to say, not that we were going to stay in there, but we do quite like to go and sit in there and take the weight off for a little while, have a little seat and a little rest. So yeah, that's not going to be open for a little while, but is what it is. The good news is that it's just opening, so at least we can get to go at all. I'll put a little list here of all the hotels and their opening dates and stuff. I think the only ones that don't have an opening date yet are Sequoia Lodge and Davy Crockett Ranch, but I'm assuming that they'll be announced soon. So yeah, that's your opening dates and kind of hotels and stuff. What else is there to tell you? Capacity, obviously they'll be running at limited capacity, so there's 25,000 maximum people in all the parks, across both parks, spread out between the two, say an average of like 12,500 across each park. Don't think it's going to be too crazy at all actually, considering sort of peak times for Disneyland Park is about 45,000 capacity, so 12,500 to 45,000 isn't too bad in comparison. So we were actually just having a little discussion before. I don't think it's going to be too bad in terms of queuing and stuff, because the fast pass queues are going to be shut and there's going to be no single rider queues either, so there will be it would literally just be standby queues, which I think it would be fine. It's easier for them to manage, isn't it? So we were saying earlier that they'll have sort of times to clean the ride vehicles and stuff like that, so it might be a little bit longer than usual, but
I think if it's the same queues time as if there was fast pass,
yeah,
because I think the cleaning time would take up the fast pass allocation, but as you said, with the shorter queues, then that's the lesser people in there, and that's going to obviously have a good effect.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. And I'm assuming that the queues will look a lot longer than they actually are, because obviously everyone's going to be spaced out like 6 feet or 2 meters apart in the queues, well, so they'll look a lot longer than they actually will be. Yeah, Ben says potentially, because we all know what it can get like in Disneyland Paris, where they're right up close to you, but virtually like having a piggyback in the queue. So hopefully there won't be any of that when we go. So that's kind of capacity and rides. Masks are essential, apart from when you're eating, so that's another thing to bear in mind. Obviously if you go soon after opening, it's going to be summer, so it will be pretty hot. So for us, I think it's going to be a bit of a trial run, isn't it, that I'm going to kind of see how it goes wearing the mask in the heat. Because if we still need to wear a mask when we go to Florida in May next year, we're going to have to plan something for that, because it might be too difficult for us to acclimatise to it.
Watched them on the YouTube and seen that all the locals do it, which is fine because obviously they're acclimatised, but us coming from here, even though it's warm at the moment, but in May when we're going, it's probably
we will have just come out of like spring, so it won't feel that good.
And going straight into Florida weather with a mask on. So
yeah, I think it'll be a little bit of a shock. I'm honestly not sure whether the masks will be mandatory by the time we go, but we just don't know with this whole thing. So
you've got a plan for it.
That's it. We're going to plan for it. We'll use Paris as a bit of a dummy run, really, won't we? I guess just for a couple of days,
so
see what it goes like.
If it's too much in Paris, then we might just have to.
We might postpone or something, or do whatever we need to do. But it is what it is. I think with this whole thing, you have to just be a bit more fluid with your plans. So that's what we'll do. So yeah, masks in all the places. They're going to try and encourage like cashless payments and contactless payments, which I'm all for. I love a contactless payment. It's going to be limited.
They don't really have in Florida,
they don't. No, in Florida we've always found that they
like a signature.
Yeah, signature all the time on your card, particularly in Disney. Not so much in the kind of outside stores, but restaurants always sign. You never have like a card machine or a contactless in a restaurant. More so in Paris, they have like PIN numbers and stuff, but I don't remember seeing contactless anywhere. So again, that'll be kind of a bit of a teething thing. What else did they say? No illuminations, and I don't think any parade, but they will be doing similar to Florida, and then they're going to have kind of new type parades where they'll have like the cavalcade, so you might get some characters in a car down Main Street USA. Meet and greets are going to be quite different because obviously you're not allowed to touch the characters, so there's no autographs or anything like that, but they're going to have like selfie points with the characters apparently. So one of the things that I did read was that there's a planned, I think, Anna, Elsa and Kristoff meet and greet in the animation studio, but it's like they'll be like on a stage, and you can just go in and take a selfie with them and then you're out. So again, I think that will move people through those lines quicker.
Yes, once they do that show in like the bit just in front of the train station, don't they, where sort of there's like the Father Christmas and Mickey and all that up on a sort of platform.
Yeah, up on the railway.
So I wonder they might get something like that up.
Yeah, I think they will. I think it's all going to be things like that, things that don't necessarily encourage a massive crowd, but when they do, it's going to be easy because it'll be outside and it'll be easy for people to spread apart a bit, which is why I think they'll like the cavalcades where they can just like drive down Main Street. Yeah,
honk at you.
Yeah, give you a wave, whatever, you can take a picture or take a selfie with them as they go past. But it's all just going to be very different, isn't it? And we're just going to have to
for a little while
plan for that. I mean, for us, we're not particularly massive like character meet and greet people anyway, are we? So
not particularly.
It won't make a huge will make a huge difference to us. Be different, but for us the biggest difference is going to be the rides and no illuminations. I think would be the biggest thing to get used to. Yeah, that will be one thing to definitely get used to. So another thing that I think they're going to do is limit the capacity in the shops. I think from reading, it looks like they're going to try and do a sort of circular plan around the shops so that it's not smash and grab and everyone's just in and get what you want. Just to make it a bit more organised, I think, so it's safer for people to be apart.
Well, you see at Disney Springs in Florida, it's the first couple of days was queuing outside and they was really regulating it, wasn't they?
Yeah.
However, now, someone we watched the other day, he says just going in a big long train, there's no one particularly at the doors, and sort of it was just like just go wherever it just seemed like people were just going wherever they like. So
it will ease off, won't it, when people get a bit more relaxed about it. Yeah, complacent is probably the right word actually, because unfortunately Florida's cases have spiked, haven't they, kind of since everything's reopened. So we're obviously keeping an eye on that. The biggest thing for us and getting us back is probably going to be the travel restrictions from the UK to France. So if we have to do obviously a 14-day quarantine in France, that's not going to work for us. Doesn't matter if we have to do a 14-day quarantine when we come home, because we both work from home anyway. It'll be when we get there that will be the issue.
It's kind of like they're telling you have to quarantine, then there's obviously it's not a stage where you probably should travel. Yeah,
exactly. So for us, we'll kind of wait until the quarantine period is lifted and we don't have to quarantine, and then full steam ahead. We'll get there, we'll get some videos for you, show you how we do things, how we travel.
I think you just need to be sensible. Like, if a queue or a shop is too busy, then just step away and just don't allow other people to dictate sort of your comfort, and just sort of do it yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable in an area, you can't complain about other people. You're there as well.
Sort yourself out.
When perhaps it's questionable whether you should be.
Yeah.
So you put yourself in that situation, so you've just got to walk away yourself. And
yeah.
If it means missing something, then
that's it. I think that's what we have to kind of plan for, isn't it? And plan to not plan is that if we don't get on something, we just don't get on it. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not, we'll go again when we can get on it. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
We're going several times in the next 6 months.
That's it. We're planning quite a few trips over the next few months. So you'll definitely get plenty of content, that's for sure. But it just may not be, we just don't do everything every single time. It's just, we'll just do what we can, and what we can't do, we don't worry about.
You have a bit of a back issue, don't you?
Yeah.
So sometimes you're okay to go on, say, Space Mountain, and sometimes you're not. So
yeah,
it's like that anyway.
It's the same thing, yeah. We just do what we feel comfortable.
We go so often that if you don't got it now, you're going in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And it's kind of losing the sort of missing out sort of feeling.
Yeah, because we know we can go so often, you don't feel like, oh god, if I don't do this, I'm never going to do it again. Same with Florida now as well, I think.
Yeah, well, if it's like an hour-and-a-half queue,
we just don't do it.
I don't really care what it is.
Yeah.
I
just don't do it.
Sort of 45 minutes is probably...
We've got a rule. Florida's like max 45 minutes, isn't it? And Disneyland Paris maximum queue is like half an hour, I would say.
Yeah.
We don't really keep them much.
If you go around towards the end, you can usually mop up a lot of things that you don't get on in the daytime.
Yeah, we do a lot of that, don't we?
Yeah,
and we
do a mad rush at the end.
We do quite a bit as well when the parade's on, because we've seen the parade so many times that quite often we'll wait by Frontierland and then zoom off and head on to like in the queue for Big Thunder, because the queues are so much shorter. Oh, Paris, yeah.
So obviously in Disneyland Paris, they don't really let you whilst the fireworks are on, whereas at Florida you can't. You can just go and shut closing times. Whereas at Paris, they kind of get you all into the main hub.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes before, I think.
Yeah. What I find with Florida is that the nighttime shows, so like Happily Ever After, particularly in Magic Kingdom, isn't at the close of the park.
No.
So Happily Ever After will be on, and you can even stay and watch Happily Ever After. We did our last night last year. We watched Happily Ever After the whole way through, waited for the crowds to die down in Main Street, and then we did like a massive loop of the park again and got on loads of different rides. So yeah, that's a really good tip.
But sometimes that's annoying for us, like in Paris, if you don't want to watch the show and the park closes at, say for instance, 10 o'clock, at 20 to 10,
everything's shut.
Sort of, it's either go and stand and watch the fireworks show or get
go
out, really.
Yeah, that's it.
Whereas in Florida, if that was the case, it'll be, if you're in the queue before 10, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's it. So
which is the case in Paris, but they don't let you get in the queue.
No, they shut off a lot of the areas, don't they? And I think that will be the case even more so this time. They'll be quite cautious about kind of when they shut off certain areas. So I reckon you might find like during the day some areas might be shut off, and then it might not be the next day, maybe something like that.
Just shut off for an hour just to let people disperse, and then let another lot of people in, perhaps.
That's it. I do think one thing I will genuinely say for Disneyland Paris is I always find it really clean. I would say it's cleaner than Florida. Like, not just in terms of like general rubbish everywhere and things like that. And
yeah, Florida used to be really good for that, but it's not quite the same. But it's still good. It's still
very clean. Yeah, one thing that I would say I have read today about Disneyland Paris is that they're going to have over 2,000 hand sanitizer stations across both parks and Disney Village, which I think is really good. Like, I'm not 100% sure where they're going to put 2,000 of the things, but I'm all for it.
Touch areas, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, massively. And I think this really kind of illuminates how much people touch things this whole pandemic.
We've always had that thought process, I think, of sort of don't rely on other people to be clean. That sort of make sure
we're clean.
You're doing your own stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's loads of things that they're doing that I think will make it really safe. And like Ben says, you have to be responsible for your own safety. So if you don't feel safe, you get away from that situation. You don't rely on somebody else to make it safe for you.
You can't just sort of stand there and think, oh, this person's really close to me, and just because you're doing something there, you've just got to take yourself away if they're not willing to move.
Yeah.
You just got to do that, really, I think.
And as well, I do think, you know, if we go there, say we go to the parks on the first day and we don't feel safe, we'll just not go back to the parks.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the position where we can because we haven't got tickets. So, because we've got the annual passes. So worst case scenario, we just don't go in the parks anymore if it's that bad.
Like our early magic hours.
And then shoot off, so.
Yeah. Whatever they called it.
Yeah, early magic hours. I was going to say as well about the park reservation system. So
back on track
about information about Disney. So what they're doing is, if you have a hotel reservation with tickets included, you don't have to reserve your days in the parks. You will be guaranteed access to the parks for those days that you're booked for. Also, if you have a closed dated ticket, so a ticket with a date, one day on it, that you've paid for, you don't have to book your reservation because you've already booked your day in the park with that ticket. So anything else, basically, you have to reserve your day in the park. So you have to have a paid ticket or an annual pass, and you have to have a park reservation, very similar to Shanghai, Disneyland and Disney World. You have to reserve your ticket.
But things, isn't it? You've got to have a ticket, and you've also got to make sure that you can get in the park on that day.
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing that I understand from it is that you don't have to book one or the other park. So you don't just have to book Disneyland Park or Walt Disney Studios. You just book your day there, and that covers both if you've got a hopper ticket.
Oh, right, okay.
So you don't have to say, right, I'm going to Disney Studios on the Saturday.
Because Florida aren't doing that, are they?
No. Florida, you have to book your day in that specific park for your party. Whereas this, I think, because they're just limiting it to 25,000 across the two.
Yeah, okay.
If it was a separate capacity for each park, then I think they would. So that system is apparently going to be launched early July, ready for the 15th of July opening date. So yeah, obviously we'll kind of, as soon as we decide when we're going to go, we'll crack on and get something booked. I'll kind of show you the reservation system as well if I can. I'll show you how we book our train tickets as well, because that'll be something that we do. We have thought about driving this time, but I've already looked at the Eurotunnel and it's really expensive. There's not many...
Cautious, but not that cautious.
Yeah, there's not many Eurostar tickets available at the minute. There's not many routes going. But I think once they open these air bridges or they stop the quarantine, then those will get a lot more, because...
Yeah, it's like we said earlier, isn't it? It's they're not going to put on a full service of trains if there's not a full service
of people going. No.
So as soon as the restrictions are lifted, more people will start to go. And I'd imagine the ones that they're putting on now are probably half empty.
Yeah.
So there's no need.
Oh, I'm sure they are, because they'll just be business people, I'm sure. As soon as we can get some decent train times and some decent prices, then we'll get booked. We have booked some time off in September, before our September beach holiday to go, but obviously if we can get to go before then, we probably won't go in September as well. Probably try and go maybe after September or something like that, or a couple of trips before and then one after.
We try and do something every couple of months, don't we?
Yeah.
Just to keep this, especially because we work at home, keeps yourself sane a little bit, because you get a bit cabin fever at times.
Yeah.
When you're really busy working at home, and then you don't really get much out.
You don't. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, don't have any break from it.
Which,
eat, sleep, work, repeat.
Yeah, it is that. You just get up and
Yeah.
go into a room.
Yeah, so it is nice for us to have a break, and having the annual passes I think really allows us to do that.
Yeah.
And my parents have an apartment in Spain, so that also allows us to get a really quick, cheap holiday in.
Literally both times. It's with Paris, it's travel and the hotel, no tickets, because obviously we do pay tickets, but we do it annually, obviously. Yeah. And then Spain, we just literally jump on a flight, don't we?
Yeah. So it's so easy. So for us, we're really lucky that we can do that, and still get to go to Florida as well, which I think we're really, really lucky for, because we can get a cheap little break in. It really helps us to kind of add that time, that holiday time in, doesn't it? So
yeah, because our Paris trips aren't long, are they? They're 2-3 days
at the most. I think when you've been more than once, and especially because we don't have kids, you don't need that long.
No, because you kind of just do, yeah, obviously the kids, I'd imagine, don't want to be walking around as much, or they want to do certain other things that we perhaps don't do. So it's just literally what we want to do, and then for the day.
And then do it again the next day. Yeah. And to be fair, this time we might get on more things actually, because there might be less.
It could go one of two ways. Could be longer queues with the same length of queues with no fast passes, so we're queuing for things that we wouldn't usually necessarily do, or could be better.
Yeah. I think the extra magic hours are going to come into their own quite a lot as well, because
I think you mentioned before, didn't you, where we got the whole haunted mansion to ourselves.
Yeah, we literally did Phantom Manor, it was just us two with the whole ride, stretching room and everything, like the whole queue, not a single other soul.
I'm not really one for that sort of thing, but feeling like creepy and stuff, because obviously I know it's just a ride, but being in there on your own, it was a bit. It
does heighten the creepiness.
It was a bit creepy.
Yeah, and I was really expecting the ghost host guy to like proper creep us out in the dark in the stretching room, but he didn't, to be fair. And I think if it had been in Florida, I think they would have.
Rather than sort of, obviously it's great to get on the roller coasters that usually have like a massive weights, but that experience is something that you can't physically do without no one else or very few people in the park.
Yeah.
So it's something that sort of, although you can get on it multiple times a day if you want to, just that experience is something that you really do need extra magic hours for.
No, definitely. So that is the one thing that I think we'll continue to make a lot of use of.
Yeah.
And
I think we'd wait in a queue for, if there was other people, I think we would just sort of linger around and not go in until
just to try and get it on your own.
Bit of a break in the stream of people.
But again, I think it's similar for Magic Kingdom in Florida at night after.
I think we've got a few photos, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll insert some photos here. So you can actually see I've literally had a little photo shoot like in front of the door and inside, and it was really good. But yeah, I think we've talked out of Disneyland Paris. I think that's all we can really go through. So
perhaps we'd put a sort of the information you've read.
Yes.
Maybe just put that at the end. So.
I will. Yeah, I'll leave it a kind of lingering a bit for you so you can see that. But yeah, other than that, if you've got any questions or any comments, please leave them down below. So don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this, and we'll be taking you on some trips very soon.